Let's start with the big one, and that is parents. There is perhaps no relationship in a school that is more fraught with potential than the one between a caregiver and an educator. I mean, we are, after all, talking about the two most important worlds in a child's life colliding. When we talk about difficult parent conversations, we often lump them into one bucket. But if we stop and look closer, there are really two very different paths that we have to walk. They require a different prep, different heart postures, and different psychological tools. The first path we're going to talk about is the one that we've all walked. This is with a parent who feels, well, divisive. Maybe they've been borderline combative in the past, and they come in with a list of grievances, or they've CC'd the superintendent on an email about a missed homework assignment. When we prepare for this, our survival instinct is to armor up. We gather our data, we print out every single rubric, we have our evidence ready to go, and we prepare for a battle. But when we walk into a room as a soldier, the other person usually responds by becoming one too. There's some very fascinating research by Matthew Lieberman and his colleagues at UCLA on this, and it's on something called affective labeling. In their studies, they found that when people are shown images of angry or fearful faces, the amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers our fight or flight response, it lights up like a Christmas tree. But when those same people are asked to label the emotion or simply name it, the activity in the amygdala decreased. And the right prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain involved in emotional regulation, took over. So what does that look like in a school office at 3:30 on a Tuesday? It means that when a parent comes in hot, maybe they're questioning your grading or a disciplinary choice, your first job isn't to defend. Your first job is to label. It sounds like saying, I can see that you're incredibly frustrated by this situation, and I want to make sure I understand why. Now, I want to be clear here. Labeling an emotion is not the same as agreeing with the person's logic. You aren't saying you're right to be angry. You're saying, I see that you are angry. In the world of psychology, this is called de-escalation through validation. When a parent feels heard, their alarm system can start to power down. Only then can you move toward the data. If you lead with the data while their amygdala is screaming, they won't hear a word you said. They'll just see your data as a weapon. Think about a time when you've been the target of that heat. It's hard not to take it personally, but usually that parent is acting out of a place of fear. Fear for their child's future, fear for their child being less than, or maybe even fear of their own past trauma with schools. When we view their combativeness as a fear response rather than a personal attack, we reclaim our power. We move from being adversaries to being observers of a problem. Okay, that's one path for a conversation with parents, but of course there's a second path, and this is the conversation that requires a completely different kind of emotional labor. This is the parent who has no clue. They think their child is doing fine. They've missed maybe the subtle red flags that you've been sending home, and you're about to walk into a room and hand them news that is sad or troubling or maybe even life-altering. With the combative parent, we need a shield. But with this parent, we need a bridge. The preparation here isn't about data, it's about stewardship.